Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Jeremy from Disc Golf Deals USA. If you've been watching me for a minute, you guys know I really love the Fission Dimension, especially in max weight. I got my nice 175 gram Fission Dimension, been bagging this for a minute. This is definitely my longest throwing disc, but this Eagle McMahon special release was our only release up until now. Thanks to the Gyropalooza that happened recently, we got some new Fission Dimensions in max weight, and I'm gonna go test them out. Let's go. Hey guys, the Fission Dimension has gotta be my longest throwing disc in my bag. The combination of the Fission technology with a super fast disc just makes for a wonderful disc, and I was glad to see that we got some Gyropalooza Fission Dimension drops that happened last week, and at least right now, we still have some of these over at Disc Golf Deals USA. There's not a lot of them, so if you want one, you gotta snatch them up. Numbers on a Dimension are 14.5, 5, 0, 3, but in the Fission plastic, it flies nothing like that. It flies more like a really long flying beat-in destroyer, and it's great. All right, so let's go head to head. My old Dimension against the new Fission Dimensions. Let's go. All right, so like I said, this one is 175 grams. This is definitely my longest crushing driver. Just has a nice turn to it. Goes dead laser straight. Yeah, great turn. And then it's got enough speed and stability to fight out of that. Wow, that is crushed. All right, now I'm hoping, fingers crossed, these new Dimensions are gonna be just as lovely as that. All right, so I got two of these. Glad to see they're in like the baby blue color, because that's kind of what my favorite Dimension is right now. Both of these are 174 grams. I gotta say, they are a little bit more domey than my other Dimension, which maybe that'll mean they'll be crushers. All right, let's go with the darker blue first. Oh, yes. Come on, fight out of it. Yes. Oh, that went even further. I'm loving it. Yeah, having a domier disc, usually what happens is you can get more air under the flight plate, and that means it'll stay up in the air more, which means it's got a little bit more glide. So that's why a lot of pros like having domey drivers, because they just crush, and that one definitely did. All right, now let's go with the baby blue guy. Yes, loving that turn. Wow, needed to give it a little bit more height. Love the flare skip on these two. Yeah, all right. Dimension, one of my favorites, loving it all day long. There's something magical about the Fission drivers from MVP. I just love them. There's not really one that I don't like. So if you've got an arm speed that's like 60 miles an hour or less, which I gotta say is probably like 90% of us out there, definitely recommend getting a Fission MVP driver. You won't regret it. All right, so super impressed with these Fission Dimensions. I mean, they're flying just as good as my older Fission Dimension right out of the box. All right, let's do a little round two again. Got a little bit of a tailwind, which should be perfect for these discs. Yeah, can give it a little bit of turn, and I don't know it's gonna fight back. Yeah, wow, that crushed. All right, let's go with the darker blue. Like I said, these puppies definitely got a little bit more dome to it than my other ones, which were pretty flat top. Yes. It started to turn, but then that tailwind kind of stabled it up a little bit. All right, let's give a little more heat with the baby blue guy. Yeah, oh, I'm loving that. They crush, yes. Yeah, definitely loving the flight of these new ones. Having that dome, they definitely go pretty far, and they're a little bit more stable than my beat-in one, which is perfect. So this gives me some good backups to my good beat up one, because that beat up one is actually getting a little bit too flippy on me, to the point where if there's even like a slight headwind, it just flips over too much. In fact, why don't we throw the other direction with a little bit of a headwind and really test these guys out. So if there is a hole where I can just open up and really rip a disc, that's where I'm pulling out this Fission Dimension. Now, like I said, if there's a little bit of a headwind, I got to put some major hyzer on my beat up one, but with these new Gyropalooza ones, I think I should be able to release them pretty flat, should be able to handle a little bit of a headwind. So let's test it out. All right, now we got a pretty decent headwind. I'd say somewhere in like the 8 to 10 mile an hour, which should be a good test for us. We're at least 400 feet from that basket, maybe even further. So let's start with my good beat in guy. I'm gonna have to put this on a hyzer, otherwise it's really gonna flip over. So let's test this one out first. There we go. Flipped up to flat, getting some turn. Man, see how far that thing goes? Oh, that is definitely pin high, every bit of 400. You know, I'm not really a guy that consistently throws over 400, but with a Fission Dimension like this, I definitely can. All right, let's try out the new ones. All right, let's go with the dark blue. This one I'm gonna try to lay a little flatter and see, hopefully it's gonna be a little more stable. Yes, yes. Oh, come on. Yes, let's go. All right, next one, I'm definitely gonna aim a little bit more to the right, but that thing crushed well over 400. Didn't give a lot of flip to it, even though it is a 14.5 503. Really kind of flies more like a -1 2 at the end of it, which is fantastic. All right, baby blue guy. Yeah, all right. That was a little flatter, definitely getting some turn on that. All right, not too bad. So there you can see, I definitely have been feeling like the darker blue one's a little bit more stable than that baby blue one, and I think that kind of confirmed that too. All right, guys. Both fantastic. Definitely gonna be bagging these for sure. Well, I'm super glad I picked this up. This is gonna be a great complement to my nicely beat in Fission Dimension right here. And then this will be a good backup for me too. Plus, man, I just love the fact that they're all blue, which is really kind of cool. And this Gyropalooza stamp is super sick. Like I said, we've got some of these available at Disc Golf Deals USA, at least as of now. They might sell out pretty quick. It was kind of a limited, sneaky release. So why don't you head on over there and snatch some of these up, because I guarantee these things definitely crush. They don't fly like the flight numbers. They fly fantastic. All right, guys, well, if you're looking to get some discs like these or some other discs, head on over to Disc Golf Deals USA. Till I see you next time, peace out.